Peace, 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 peace. Salutations. How's everyone doing? God bless. What's happening? How are you today? We right here. This is my first time actually. I didn't even know about this feature to tag all these people. So I'm tagging a lot of people right now that I'm live. I've been doing this for 15 weeks now. And I just learned something. How about that? So, how y'all doing this morning? I think that's enough for right now. All right, good. I just sent the live to a lot of people. That's my first time doing that, so I think I'm gonna start doing that from now on, actually, when we start off. Peace, brethren. Let's see. Peace and blessings, my man Dion. Peace. Is this the right one? That ain't the right one. That's last week's. Hola, que paso, amigo? What y'all smoking on? I'm looking for my meme. I gotta get my slides in better order. Good morning, Lizard Queen. Where's my dang meme, man? Good morning. Where is my thing, man? Okay, I'm coming to it. Y'all gotta bear with me, man. My bad. Good morning. What y'all smoking on? Wow, there it is. Good morning. Kim Dog OG, that's what's up. San Fernando Valley. Is that where you are, Dion, or that's what you smoking on? Peace, DZ Den. I'm on some diesel dough right now. ERH. Cookies, that's what's up. It's it's my first time trying this strain. I'm trying to analyze it as I talk, because I just finished. It's all right, I guess. It's not that strong, but it's you know, it is what it is. It's a blessing. Let's start out with counting our blessings, shall we? Anything happened to you this day? You woke up this morning, you can wiggle your fingers and toes. Anything happened to you last week, last month? Some positive news? You survived COVID? I had a friend, very good friend of mine, who just got finished going through COVID. So I'm gonna count that blessing. Shout her out, Dee Dee Smith Foster. Do that, cause yeah, she was down and out, and but she got through it. And, so peace and blessings. And I'm going to start today with today's word, day 15. As you all know, who've been following us, we go through this book, 420 God's Bible, and got my very first iPad. Moving on up, that's what's up. My best friend, them. I'm also at Weed Sunsets, that's what's up. Yeah, so we go through with the four. Oh, another thing real quick. Let me give a shout out to Capital Fashions, who makes our merch as well. This is their exclusive right here. They also make our merch, so I'm wearing some 420 Fellowship merch. It's kind of cold out here right now, but you know. Anywho, Weed Sunsets. Okay, that's what's up. Oh, I know who you are too, champ. I remember you. So yeah. We start out with we on day 15 today, and as I once you guys start picking up the book, and you start to meditate and write, this is what came to me in day 15, and this is one of my favorite days. This one I go back to whenever. I always go back to this one because it's just one of my favorites. But it says, peace, Zips. That's my brother right there who actually started the 420 Fellowship and designed the logo. Praise is due. Prayers are due. Pray they do. Praise to the due, for it is precious. Every day is judgment day. That I am is persistent. My circle is completely sourced, the source of YX. Wheel image in fate, live by peace, extraordinary, average, normal life, book of the shadow. Now, I'm going to break that one down a little bit. Let me zip up. It's a little chilly out here. So that's a mantra of mine. Day 15 is one of my favorites. It starts by giving praise to the Most High. All praise is due. Full stop. Prayers are due. Prayers are due. Now, there's a verse in Romans 8:26. That ain't the right one. That's it right there. It says, likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit itself intercedes for us through wordless groans. So even when we're not knowing what to pray for, our spirit prays for us. Prayers are due. Pray they do. And this is a little bit serious and sad, I guess. So the end of this video, pray they do. What's up, Isis? I want you guys to see this video because I saw this week. That those who prey on them are watching, and those who prey on them are watching, waiting for their moment to pounce. Pray they do. That video was about children being snatched. And it was about children being snatched in Kenya, and then they were selling these children to women who were barren. And these women would buy these children from these women who were stealing children. And these mothers were lost without their children. So people are preying on children every day. Not just children, but preying on a bunch of different things. There is no imaginary devil or the devil. It's the evil that men do. Children are being snatched because women are barren, so they get children from kidnappers. The new mother pretends her hands are clean, but the devil is nowhere to be found. Those that pray or participate in preying on children are just as guilty, in my book, as the kidnapper. Actually, even more so, because the buyer facilitates the market of the underworld. I've heard people say this argument that it was Africans that sold their own people into slavery. As if European imperialism just came to the shores with a checkbook and there were stores full of captured Africans on sale for wholesale. And then they would take these caged cargo across the water to sell for retail. Let's just go with that argument. The buyer facilitates the market, period, guilty. Whether it's ivory, child prostitutes, cocaine, slaves, in my book, all hands are dirty. So you just as dirty as the person who snatched the child, the mother who bought that child. Pray they do. Alas, there is good news. Praise to the dew, for it is precious. Now, every day above ground is something that I've heard people say before. And I know what it means, and I'm sure y'all know what it means. It means that if you living, you good. If you can wiggle your fingers and toes, you good. You've been reborn today. There was a time, I remember my sister, this is a kind of sad story, not kind of sad, it's very sad. I remember my sister was passing away. She passed away a year and a half ago from cancer. And I remember her in the hospital bed looking down at her toes to see if she could wiggle them. And she couldn't. And then she finally got her toes to wiggle. And I saw her smile. Through all this pain she was going through, in her last days, she was able to wiggle her toes, and that gave her satisfaction. So, if you can wiggle your fingers and toes, you're pretty good. Praise to the dew, the morning dew, for it is precious. When I see the morning dew, all praise is due. You dig? When I wake up in the morning and I saw that fresh dewdrop in the morning, I give thanks and praise, and my day starts like that. And I go with that, and I think it's a good way to go. Being alive is it's a great day to be alive, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've been through. As long as you're alive, you can make it through it. Every day is Judgment Day. Okay? Every day is Judgment Day. Now, I think I talked before about we're in the time of revelations. And there's a little passage right here. Each time a new manifestation of God comes, it's considered the day of judgment, day of resurrection, or the last hour for believers and unbelievers of the previous manifestation of God. The Bab told of judgment, for God shall originate at the creation and then cause it to return. Now, in this times these times of revelations, the life you save may be your mother effing own. That's what Jesus said. And God is here. And you can change. You can be saved. You can save yourself. Salvation is for you. So have no fear. You're being judged on your deeds and your actions in real time. Right now, today, that's happening. I suggest you find peace. Hold on to it and spread it to like-minded, peace, love, seeking individuals. Now is not the time to be compromised. It's not the time to be negative. It's not the time to have hateful energy. The I am is persistent. He knows when you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. This walk is not for the faint of heart, for backsliders. Freedom is a road seldom traveled by the multitudes. So, and it's a beautiful walk. Trust me, I'm telling you some good stuff here. I go to the source of YX, the Most High, the Elohim, the Alpha, the source. That's the point, the beginning, the essence. The universe and everything in it is a circle. Everything that is has already happened and will happen. Everything that is has already happened and will happen. Dig on that. So where do you fit on that universal paradigm? How do you live? Do you live at peace? Or do you live at war? And if you are fighting, who are you fighting? What are you fighting for? Is it peace? I know it is. Live by peace. That's what I'm saying right there. And that last passage, that last sentence, extraordinary, average, normal life, book of the shadow. Soul journal. Get your copy. Now, my life from birth has been nothing short of amazing. It's never been average. It's never been normal, even though it appears to be. I skipped the 2nd grade. I was a pretty smart kid. I was kidnapped. I was a pretty valuable kid. I've been inside the pyramids to the bottom. I've seen the tombs of the pyramids. I rode a Arabian stallion in the Sahara Desert. The feeling I felt the magnificently awesome power of Victoria Falls. I used to do a TV show. I've written movies, recorded records, been on stage. I've had an extraordinary, normal life. Extraordinary. And that's just a little part. I ain't even giving y'all everything. That's just some little parts. I'm just saying. The best is yet to come, and all praise is due. All praise is due. Now, as I said, I'm just trying to spread love because love was spread to me. Love was spread to me in the form of knowledge and wisdom and peace. And I went to this, what's his name? Oh, I can't remember the guy's name right now. He got a thing called God Box. David Banner. I went into this God Box. And inside you'll find supernatural strength, power, forgiveness. It's a beautiful, magical place. And it's where I live. So, you know, just give thanks and praise. All praise is due. Very happy to be here. You should be too. And guess what? We get to smoke. Isn't that a blessing? And that's such a nice, like, that's like the cream of the crop of everything is a J. You know what I mean? With all of the everything else, however bad it's going, however good it's going, you hit a J, and it's like, dang, that was fresh. That was good. I'm good. I'm cool. Sheesh. We're waiting on our guest to get here. Tammy, the Cannabis Cutie. Let me try to text her and see what's going on. Anybody got any questions or anything? Hallelujah. That's what's up. Appreciate that one, Canna, bro. Canna Rebel, my bad. Oh, I got one for y'all, actually. Let me find it. Oh, here's a meme. How about that? How about that little bit of piece of heaven on earth? All right. I'm looking for a top of the AM. Top of the forehead to you, sir. I got another one for y'all while we wait for Tammy to join. Let me see something. Let me text her. I'm still looking. Bear with me. Where is it? I think I can show that one till I find it. Oh, there she is. Who has the greater miracles, Moses or Jesus? All right, let me see if I can get this thing to work right. I forgot how to do all that. Peace, Sean. Sean Myra is our guest next week.
Hi,
Good morning. How are
good
you?
morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you. That was kind of quick. You came in quicker than I thought you
Oh, sorry.
would. So, how about we start with introducing yourself, who you are. Let me thank you first of all, because I know that it's very, very, very early for you, and you had there was a miscommunication on the time. She we It's supposed to be at 10 a.m. her time. Well, that's what she thought it was. So she was prepared in her mind, and she had to adjust her schedule to get up this early, and I really appreciate that. So I want to thank you for that, Tammy.
I appreciate that. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
So let's go ahead and just start with who you are, where you from.
So my name is Tammy Pettigrew. I currently live in Southern California, and I'm a cannabis advocate, educator. I do all of this via social media and right now online events, but that's a little bit about who I am briefly.
Okay. Do you work in the cannabis industry?
Yeah, yeah. What I'm doing now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I own a cannabis education company called the Cannabis Cutie.
Okay. So let me ask you
Yeah.
that: is that financially lucrative? Not to tell me too much, but is it is it sustainable for
You
you?
know, at first it was not figuring out how to monetize education was a challenge, but yeah, figuring it out just nicely, and the momentum and the trajectory is in my favor.
That's what's up. All right, that's a good
Yeah.
thing. All right, so let's I know you just joined us, and we you kind of missed our little thing we do, but I want to talk with you about your spiritual. Start with that. Talk about your spiritual history and path, and how you got to where you are. And
Oh
I'm going to say
man.
something real quick because I watched the episode of I forgot which episode I watched you on, but I remember you talked about being agnostic at some time, or
Yes.
possibly atheist. I don't know. But
Yeah.
so can you just kind of go with that? Start with that.
Yeah, so I was raised Catholic. I was baptized Catholic, went through my communion, and then quit Catholicism in around third grade. Something
What?
about that confessional that did not sit well with me.
Okay. You stopped early.
Yeah, I was not
Enough is
happy about
enough.
it. And then I went Southern Baptist because at the time I was living in Oklahoma and that was kind of my option.
Mhm.
And that was like a year of that. And I was like, no.
So, damn, you did 8 years of Catholicism and only gave baptism one, Southern baptism one.
Well, it was because my Sunday school teacher was speaking ill of Catholicism and
Mhm.
Catholics. I mean, some of the most negative stuff I'd ever heard. So for me, it was kind of like, all right, well, in Catholic church, they weren't talking bad about anyone, but it didn't fit me. And then in Baptist church, they're literally only talking about shit and telling me how I'm going to go to hell. And not hearing anything about the positives. It was all fear, and I didn't like it.
Mhm.
Um, and then I went non-denominational, and that was probably one of the most judgmental places I think I've ever been to in my life.
They were worse than the Baptists?
Yeah, yeah, it was about the same.
Oh, okay, because I guess I'm guessing because they're non-denominational, they're better than everybody because they're not anything, so they're better than everybody else.
I don't know what the mindset was, but I was like, fuck spirituality, excuse my language. It was a
Oh,
turnoff.
so good. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then when I moved to Detroit, Um, I went through something very emotional. I suffered a loss,
Hmm.
and that was kind of what brought me back to the idea of spirituality,
Hmm.
and meditation, and journaling. That's when I kind of saw that there was a higher power definitely working in my life.
Hmm.
Um, and then I just kind of surrendered after I went through that really deep thing. And then I had a pastor in Detroit who, for the first time, um, taught me a lot about the Bible without instilling fear in me and without making me feel like I needed to abide by certain rules. So I would say I'm still a non denominational Christian, but my pastor in Detroit was definitely the game changer. Anne is her name.
Okay. And in that
Yeah.
time when you were, so when did you go through that agnostic state? Like,
College, I would
okay.
say 18 to about uh, 23 is what I was like. There's something, I don't know what it is, but I just know that everybody thinks that their organization is best, and I don't believe them.
Well, yeah, and that's that's kind of like I said the mission. Lizard Queen asked, "What's the pastor of which denomination?" I think the one in Detroit she was asking about.
Gosh, I think they're non-denominational as well.
Okay, but
Yeah.
what else I was gonna say? One of our missions here is to, and we talked about that last week, um, with Roach Killer. He said about somebody told him about religion is like a rope, and how a rope sticks together, has all these different strands, and they all kind of come together to form a rope. And that's kind of how he saw religion and spirituality. And I also said to him, I see the sun as an example of a light that everybody is going to, and it's all these different rays, and we all have a different path to get to the same light, but it's the same light we're all going to. So there is
Mm-hmm.
no correct way. There are many
Mm-hmm.
ways to the way, and when people say that they have the way, they really don't know a lot.
No, they don't.
So that's okay. So cool. That's what's up. All right. Now, okay. So let's go with that. Let's stay in that where we are now because I know that you're a educator, and I want to talk about the history of kind of cannabis from a from. I mean, oh well, no. Let me ask you this one real quick. I'm sorry. You said that and I think I heard you say that cannabis kind of helped with your spiritual reawakening.
Correct. Yes.
Can you
Yeah.
go on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Like whenever I consume cannabis, it would always open my mind up to like the beauty of the world and the
Hmm.
good that was in the world. And that inherently is God. I mean, everything you can find good and evil in every single thing here on this planet. And I always believe that if it's good and you can see the love and the beauty, it is of God. And smoking this plant definitely opened my mind to that because prior to using cannabis, I was very negative. I was very pessimistic, realist, I would say.
Hmm.
Um, I needed to see facts and information to believe it.
Hmm.
And then cannabis kind of, took me to like a mystical place in understanding that it doesn't need to be seen to be real. Um, so yeah,
That's what's up. Have you ever had any epiphanies?
plenty. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now let me ask you this one. Do you think God made us for cannabis, or did He make cannabis for us?
He made that one's a hard one to answer because when you look at the how long this plant has been on the planet, it has been here longer than us. And when you look at the endocannabinoid system, we're not the only species on this planet who has that. It is in every mammal that has a spine. It probably has an endocannabinoid system. So I don't want to be narcissistic in thinking that we were the only thing that were created in mind for intelligence and for reception of this plant. I think that we were created with this plant in mind for our healing. Um, but I think that this plant was engineered to help the entire planet with um, ecologically, health wise, for spiritual reasons. So I don't think that it was us. I think it was
Not us
all
in
of it.
particular.
It was,
All of us.
yeah, yeah, all of us. If you include the animals and if you
Okay.
include everything else with the spine, then yeah, we were engineered to receive this plant. Absolutely.
Okay. I wonder if Amoebas like it. Um, so from a spiritual perspective, which religions practice or use cannabis?
In India, they use cannabis as a spiritual sacrament whenever they pray, although they don't have access to it. And then even in the Bible, I mean, not in the New Testament because they took those passages out, but Jesus used cannabis to heal. I mean, you talk about healing the blind, and we know that glaucoma is something that cannabis helps people who are going blind to be able to see. We've had whole movements on that. And casting away demons could be seen as epilepsy or seizures. And we know that cannabis is extremely powerful in casting away those demons. So I think every religion, I mean, there's even reference in the Bible where Jesus was upset that they didn't bring him any canna, which is cannabism. So I think
Where's
all
my weed?
yes, I believe all religions have some say so of cannibalism, but again, we have these editing of these holy books because it didn't match the British colonial strategy. So we don't ever get to learn about it. And we're told that it's the devil's weed and that it's demonic, yet our bodies were created by our creator and it has a system that speaks directly to this plant. But again, our religions are telling us to stay away from this and take the things that we make in a lab that kill you. So I think all religions use it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, what? Okay. So, do you know anything about, in particular, about Sufis and how or what they use it for?
I don't.
Okay, because I know that Sufi is a Muslim sect. Well, not a sect. I don't like
Okay.
to say sect, but they're Muslims, and but they also have a mystical um they're into mystics and they use cannabis and Islam. It's kind of a mix between those three, from my understanding of it.
Okay.
And then I know you were Shiva. I was
Hmm.
that's the Hindu
Yeah, yeah.
cannabis god, or is that?
Yeah, the blue one with all the arms and yeah, that's Shiva.
All right, that's what's up. Okay, cool.
Then the
So
Rastafarians as
the
well. They
Rastafarians as well,
yeah.
sacrament. Now, can you give us a little bit of a history of cannabis, sort of worldwide? I know it's early,
Yeah, no, I can
but
give a
I
brief
know that's like,
synopsis.
yeah, just a quick little run through because I know that's it's one of the things you kind of talk about.
Yeah. So cannabis originates in in around the Tibetan area. That's we don't really know because it's been here for over 30 million years, but it originated there and it actually started as one plant and then it diverged and separated into two. So one part of the plant became cannabis and the other part of the plant became hops, what we find in beer. So hops and cannabis are actually cousins in the plant world, or they're in the same family in the plant world. Once those plants diverged, they both became medicinal. Unfortunately, we use hops for beer, so a lot of people don't know that. But we do know that cannabis is medicinal, and its history is rich. Um, emperors in China were using it. Doctors in China used to use it for surgery as a form of anesthesia.
Mm,
It was used during childbirth, during pregnancy to help with nausea, given to children. It was used for all ages and every part of society up until about the 1920s, when again, Americans got their hand on it. And we have this American thing where we like to demonize things that we don't understand. And the reason why we demonized it was because Mexicans were using this plant and smoking it, which was a new way of using the plant. Um, so you have this rich history that's been used by kings and queens and emperors and gods as
and
religious rites, as
presidents.
medical presidents. And then it gets to America, and all of a sudden, well, Mexicans are using it, so it must be bad. And the number three medicine in the United States all of a sudden disappeared just because it was being smoked by Mexicans. And Americans didn't even know that they were making their number three medicine illegal because they were just accepting that xenophobia and okay with it. They didn't know that marijuana and cannabis were the same thing. So this whole idea that cannabis is evil is a very, very new concept. I'm talking millions of years, and then the last like 100 years, it's been demonized. And then here we are today. That's kind of a quick rundown.
Was nice. And I know jazz prohibition had a lot to do with it as well, right? Like as far as demonizing it and the prohibition movement or making it illegal was
Yeah.
a lot of things that happened, or the appearance of making white women lucid with
Yes.
jazz
So
singers.
So jazz singers were definitely people who smoked the grass, the viper, the good shizit is what they called it. They
They
were
still do.
vipers, and yeah, and they used cannabis. And so the government, in order to keep their message consistent, they had to associate these jazz players and their demonic music and demonic actions as a way to get white women to sleep with them. And the reason why they said this was because at the time, white women had just gained the power to vote. So what they needed, what white men, their strategy here was, we need them to know that they still need our protection and our safety. So that was the theory behind it. It's like, hey, these jazz players will use this to get you to sleep with them. And you still need us powerful men behind you. So even though you can vote, don't get it twisted. These are demons and they're using demon products. So that was kind of what helped. You know, you've got William Randolph Hearst, who hated Mexicans and was in charge of the media, essentially. And now he was attacking Black people. So essentially, they were just going after what they deemed the lower echelon people in society for their own political motives.
Kind of like building a wall.
Correct. It's the same exact story. Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess we've always. I mean, it's kind of easy to do if you think about it. I mean, even American politics has always been to demonize poor against rich. That's
Mm-hmm.
how unions got started.
Mm-hmm.
That's how after slavery and
Bacon's
then
Rebellion. Yeah, that's the old American strategy. Pit poor Black folks against poor white folks, and poor white folks will never know that they're the same as poor Black folks. Just they'll always believe that they're a bit superior, and that's how they've been able to control us since this was the planter elites strategy. But back in the slavery days, and it's been effective even still today.
right, and
Yeah.
it works like a charm
Mm-hmm.
actually. What are you rolling up over there?
Originals, Oaksterdam. This is all I smoke. Repping them right now.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what's up. That's not your places? That's just one that you kind of rep, right?
Yeah, it's the only place I kind of yeah, I don't work in. Yeah.
So that is that where is that? Where are you out of?
I'm
Is
in
that
Orange County.
okay?
But they're in LA. They're about
Okay,
45 minutes from me. Yeah.
okay, that's what's up. Now, let's talk a little bit of politics and cannabis. Um, Wanda James, do you know who she is?
Yes, out in Colorado.
Yeah, so I was watching her on something, and she worked on the Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's finance committees.
Okay.
But I just read something about Joe Biden not or leaving the cannabis pledge out of his transition.
Yep. I saw that too.
So what what should we what should we expect? The same kind of thing, or what do you think? I mean, what are your predictions as far as what's happening?
Joe Biden leaving that out of his plan was not a shock. That's kind of the Democratic way. Talk about how much you love cannabis and that it should be legalized, only to go hard on cannabis users and businesses. Obama did it. Bill Clinton was really rough. Jimmy Carter. So it's not a shock. The only thing that I would say is Kamala Harris was just seen on that BET documentary Smoke, speaking about the war on drugs, and she also is a co-sponsor of the MORE Act. So we should see federal legalization or federal decriminalization based on what they said. But I think we're in a better position than the Trump administration. They came in immediately swinging and attacking the cannabis industry by rescinding the Cole memo. So I think we're in better hands. Unfortunately, I think if Trump would have been elected a second term, that there's no telling on what they would do, but it wouldn't have been in our favor. At least pre-election, we had these people saying these things, so we'll see what happens. But
Don't
they
look good.
definitely got my vote. There's no way I could vote for Trump in this election. So, but yeah, what I say all that to say the Democrats are not any better when it comes
Right.
to drugs and reform.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I mean, but it seems like there's a national movement, and nationally, people want something federally done. Um, I remember. I think it was one guy you were talking to about the MORE Act and how, I guess the pros and cons of it, of like the taxation part, the federal taxation part. I guess he saw it as a con. Do you see it more the MORE Act um, as something that needs to be done, or something that needs to be kind of revised and done over?
They're never gonna get cannabis legislation right. They won't. They're going to try to come in and tax it based on THC percentage, which just means they don't know about cannabis. They're not learning about cannabis. We're not going to get it right. Anything that passes is going to need to be revised. The MORE Act has its flaws, but it also has its benefits. You're talking about expunging everyone's records for nonviolent cannabis offenses. We're talking about creating a trust fund to fund people who have been harmed by the war on drugs so that they may get their businesses up on the ground. So yes, the legislation is imperfect, but all of our legislation is imperfect, and they're
Right.
not going to get it right, and it's going to be very far off. I mean, where I grew up in Oklahoma, they have blue laws, and that means that you can't buy alcohol on Sundays, no VIPs, no bottle service, and that's a state by state basis. So
Mm.
we just expect the laws to kind of suck in some areas, but at least we're having progress, which is the bet. That's the starting point.
Which um which states have the best, or what states would you say have the best models of legal cannabis?
Oklahoma has the best model in the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Oklahoma has the best model in the world. Wherever you can consume cigarettes, you can consume cannabis. Um, in order to get a license in a state like California, you need about $1 million of capital because there are so many pay to play rules, different localities and municipalities and districts that have different rules and different fees. In
Mm.
Oklahoma, $2,500 will get you any license. And it's not a matter of yes or no. It's just like an ID. Do you live in the state of Oklahoma? Yes. Do you have $2,500? Yes. Do you have a business plan? Yes. All right, here's your license.
Damn.
So 2,500 to get retail, 2,500 to get cultivation, which automatically comes with the transportation license. $2,500 for manufacturing. So you could literally go to Oklahoma, get these 3 licensed with the bonus of 4, and be operational in under $10,000 and start growing in your garage. I mean, Oklahoma is, you have to want to live there,
Um,
but they have the old California law, which was Prop 215. That's now what is operating in Oklahoma. California is one of the worst places to get in because you have,
Oklahoma.
again, you need to have a lease before you even apply for the license. And if you
Hmm.
get denied this license and you've had this lease for a year, that's money that you're not getting back. Your state fees, your local fees, some cities are making it extremely impossible to get in because they know who they want to give their licenses to. So
Right,
Oklahoma
right.
is the best place to get in the game right now as it stands.
Yeah, I got a buddy right now who's in New Jersey applying, and they were supposed to vote, I think, in February. And then one of the companies protested because they didn't fill out the PDF right. So they did a lawsuit. It's been in litigation, but he's had to hold this lease now for a year. He's a he's not a millionaire, and he had to get finances. So he has to convince his financiers to stay with him through this litigation and Corona hitting all this other stuff. So yeah, it's a the whole game is a game. I guess legal and the black market. I think that's why the black market will always be there
Yeah.
because yeah, it's just too much. And I think a lot of people like here in DC, we have this weird legal. What the hell? Oh, we have this weird. My screen went blank. We have this weird legal. It's called I-71 Initiative 71, where you can't sell it, but you can give. You know about it?
Yes. You guys have legalized adult use, but your legalized adult use market does not exist.
Exactly. Unless you
Yeah,
go to a medical, unless you have a medical card, then you can go to a dispensary. But
yeah,
you can go to a pop up and get a T-shirt and a gram.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
Yeah, DC's laws are weird, but we're in a good position. We have over 30 states legal, but the last time we had over 30 states legal, what the U.S. government did was they associated cannabis use in the industry with communism. And Americans are very, whenever you throw communism out there, Americans, if you look at the history, they respond very well to control.
hmm
So we're at a point where we could legalize, or they could take it all away again by saying, this is communistic behavior. This is for the Chinese to come over and infiltrate our land and take our country. And it works every time. So
hmm
we're at that point. The last time we were at that point, that's what happened, was the communist rhetoric, and then the crime, being tough on crime.
hmm
Unfortunately, the crime thing isn't going to work. They're going to need something else. So we'll see what happens. It could go either way. But I'm guessing because Joe Biden and his team has been elected, we're going to see more legalization.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We hopefully something like that will come through. Which states have you smoked in?
Woo! Florida, Michigan, North Carolina, Texas, Oklahoma, the UK, Mexico, California, Arizona, Nevada,
Okay, cool.
Colorado,
There you go.
New York.
New York is not legal in New York. How'd you do that?
It was not legal in any of these places that I went
Okay. What's wrong with you? All right. I wanted to ask you about talk about runner's high, right?
Yeah.
And how that is not actually what people thought it was, but it's something else.
Yeah. So most people believe that when you get runner's high, you get a huge dump of endorphins, which is true. But those endorphins are really big, and our brains have a blood brain barrier, and it's to prevent big molecules like that from getting inside. So what's actually happening is your body is dumping what's called the bliss molecule. And the bliss molecule, if you look at its molecular structure, it looks very similar to THC. So our body produces its own THC, and when we have rigorous exercise like a long run, it'll dump it. And that high that feels very similar to a weed high is a weed high. It's just our body's own version of THC called anandamide, or the bliss molecule.
Mm. Yeah. See, my wife. I want her to she can't stand cannabis, but she loves to work out. So she really loves getting high,
Hmm.
but she don't know it.
Hmm.
So I want you to convince her how to use the CBD THC for the runner's high that she's missing right now.
Man, convincing people to try THC is tough, again, because the demonization of intoxication, although cannabis intoxication is not touching an alcohol intoxication. That's a whole different world. Um, so yeah, starting off slow, 1 gram, milligram, 2 milligram. If you don't feel anything, that's fine. It's better to go slow and feel nothing than to feel too much. Because if you feel too much, you're never going to want to do it again.
Mm,
So I would say, yeah, do like a 10 to 1, 10 milligrams of CBD to 1 milligram of THC, and see how that feels first. Do it at home so that you're not out and about and you're tired. If you don't feel it, maybe try, a 10 to 5, something like that. But always start slow, find your number, and do it that way, because a cannabis overdose where you consume too much THC feels like you're going to die. You're not going to. I promise you won't die, but it's going to feel like it, and it's not a fun feeling.
I was going to ask you that too. That was going to be a later question I ask you. Is there such a thing as being too high?
Heck yeah, there's such a thing as being too high. I don't cry at all, but if I'm too high on edibles, I will bawl my eyes out, and that is unbecoming of who I am as a person.
So you just
The anxiety, like someone just said, the panic. Yes, you panic. It's not fun at all, and it lasts hours and hours and hours. It's the worst feeling.
That's
Yeah.
funny. All right, let's do this. Let's talk about I'm gonna put this graph up real quick. And let's let's talk. Is this the endocannabinoid system? Is that what that is?
Um,
Like a brief fix?
no, those
That's
are
not okay. Hold on.
cannabinoids. Yeah.
Okay, tell me what that says. What's that right
Okay.
there? Like what are those
So
different?
those are all cannabinoids. I can't see the one in the top right, but I'm assuming it's THC.
Yeah, that one
And
is
these are
THC.
just some of the cannabinoids that are produced by the plant. The first cannabinoid that's produced is called CBGA. Um, After that cannabinoid is made, it turns into other things. So that's the most important cannabinoid that we have. CBGA
Okay.
makes CBG, it makes THCA, which makes THC, it makes CBDA, which makes CBD, CBCA, which makes CBC. Um, so,
That's the one.
yeah, yeah, CBGA is the most important cannabinoid. CBN turns in to CBN because it's THC first. That's what Delta 8 is as well. It was THC first. Um, these cannabinoids get, like, after time or heat, they just transform and become something new that helps a whole different set of like issues that you have in your body. So
Okay.
it's pretty cool. Yeah.
I have a daggone thing somewhere. I'm trying to find this graph I had with the whole system. But now, okay, so what about the CBC? What is that one for or do?
CBC
Is that one?
So CBC is kind of starting to pick up its popularity. I think CBC is really good at with nausea is one
Mhm.
that I was told. THCA is really good too. Um, CBL is also coming back or is coming around too. I hear that one's good for depression. I'm not super well versed on CBC, something
Okay.
I probably need to be more well versed on, but they all have overlapping properties. So they're all really good at inflammation disorders or issues
Mhm.
related to inflammation. They're all really good at helping with nausea, especially THCA. Um, CBG is really good with infectious disease like
Mhm.
MRSA. Um, so CBN is really a really powerful sleep aid. So there's so many. They all do it best together. That's the most important part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Um, I had another one. Okay. Oh, what is THCP?
THCP, so that is the strongest version of THC that's out there. THCA or THC has about like 5 LOX hooks that like binds to us, but THCP has 7 hooks.
Mm.
So that means that it's going to be a key that fits really, really nicely to our receptors, and it is really potent. THC, and that has been a new cannabinoid that was discovered at the end of last year by some Italian researchers. And it's if that hits the market, that's going to be a fun one. That's probably going to be longer and stronger highs. Yeah.
Mm. So what? But where is that? Where does that come from though? Like where? How do they discuss? I mean, is it part of the plant or where do they
Yeah,
concentrate?
so as when it comes to endocannabinoid research and cannabinoid research, we're only about 30 years in. And this is the biggest scientific discovery of our lifetimes. We found a system in our body that controls everything, and cannabis helps regulate this system. And there's nothing else that comes close to regulating the system this well. So in America, where we have a lot of research dollars and really great researchers, we're not allowed to research it. So we're just completely out of the game. We're left at the helm of Israel, of Italy, of all these other countries that are doing the research, and we have to see what they're saying and what they're discovering. So there's so many different strains in different countries that have different derivatives and chemicals. So this THCP thing is new. But again, we're just kind of in America like, looks fun.
So are they already testing it over there? Like, has people tried it or like
I
in
haven't seen any research studies, but research takes time.
Mhm.
Usually no, after the process has been completed, about a year away. So I'm sure right now research is being done, but we won't know
Mhm.
anything preliminary until they find conclusive enough evidence to share.
I got you. Um, Now let me ask you this. Okay, I'm gonna ask you another little off the wall question. You have a twin, right?
Yes, I have a twin.
A twin brother.
Yes,
Can you beat him?
in everything. What are you talking about, though?
Is he in the cannabis industry as well?
Yeah, he actually came to the cannabis industry this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I quit his
Okay.
other career. Yeah.
All right. I mean, I like the thing about the industry. I think it's a new industry. It reminds me of the IT industry when it first started 20, 30 years ago. You know,
Hmm.
there's so many different avenues, and if you get in now, you can build. You know, or
Hmm.
it's better to get at the ground floor is the way I
Correct.
see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because people will come to you just like you said, what you've been doing.
Right.
Um, does that, and then the thing that you did with the Indiana Health swabs.
Hmm.
Did you with that? Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I wanted to ask you, do you just talk about it for a minute? But do you trust that, or do you trust your own judgment?
I trust
You
my
know
own
what I mean?
judgment.
Okay.
Yeah, like
So
at
can you
the end
tell
of the
about what
day,
that
I'm the
is?
one living in this body. So these test results are great and they give me a lot of information. But at the end of the day, like you have to know your body. Um, Sometimes when you smell something, you're like, I don't want to eat that because your body is saying, I don't like that. And it has to be the same with cannabis. So cool, you gave me like terpenes and strains that I should try. But when I smell something and I don't like it, I'm not smoking it.
Mm-hmm. It's
Because
just.
usually if I smoke it, I'm gonna feel messed up and not in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's cool, it's fun, but at the end of the day, we have to learn how to be our own doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're the one that's in your body. When you take a medicine, you feel really, really bad, and your body is rejecting it. Listen to that. Your doctor or pharmacist may say, "Keep the course, keep the course." You're supposed to feel worse before you feel better. Do not condition your body to the poison. That's exactly what you're doing. It's not
Yeah.
good. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That happened with me actually with I don't know. I don't know if it was. Well, I know morphine, but it was I forgot the pill they gave me. I had kidney stones, and they gave me. I forgot which pill it was, but I threw up. And I was like, I don't want that ever again,
Exactly.
And I just would deal with the pain. I just like I don't take anything now for it. But let me ask you now, terpenes. Can you what are terpenes? And does the body have terpenes
So
in
the
it?
body does not have terpenes, no.
Okay, the
But
terpenes are the plant smell.
terpenes are in all plants.
Okay,
They're in every single. So lemons have terpenes. That's what we know is limonene is one. Um, Cilantro has myrcene. Mangoes have myrcene. Um, Pine trees have pinene. Eucalyptus has eucalyptol. Lavender has linalool, and cannabis has an abundance of all of them.
mm,
And what terpenes are, it's just nature's natural pest repellents. So those terpenes are really off-putting for certain animals and other pests. Um, and what they are medicine for our bodies. So it may put off a lot of people or animals in nature, but for whatever reason, the human loves terpenes. And you can find them in soaps, household cleaning supplies, candles, perfumes, food. Excuse me, they are everywhere.
that's a strong strain you smoke.
Yes, it is the strongest I've ever smoked in my life. It's my favorite.
What kind is that?
Oaksterdam OG.
That's
And
what
you
I
can
was like.
only buy the originals at their dispensary.
Oh, that's their
No
own.
other.
That's their own.
They're vertically integrated, yeah.
Okay.
So they have their own cultivation and retail. So they only sell to themselves.
Oh wow. Must be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we had. I'll be glad when we get to that point here, when we have like just recreational basically, because I was in Colorado. That was a pretty cool. I liked the way the atmosphere was there. You only just
Yeah.
had to show ID basically,
Yeah.
you know, and but their it seemed like their weed was kind of dry or something. I don't know. It was just
You
it
have to
was.
come to California. And I promise you, if you go to the originals, all they specialize in are OGs. So if you
I
like OGs, that's all they specialize in. They perfected their recipe. It took them 15 years to do it. It's perfect. I promise you, any OG in there is going to be amazing. But this one is the best one in my opinion. The oak.
The Oak Crest. That's your favorite strain.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me do this
Hmm.
thing. I want to do this thing with you real quick. A word association,
Okay.
and just say whatever the first word comes to your mind.
Okay.
Lemon haze,
Sleep.
Durban poison,
Fire.
Jack Herer,
Legend.
Orange Crush,
Tasty.
Sour OG,
Fire.
Train Wreck,
Nice.
Pineapple Chunk.
Good night.
Good night. Okay. Bubba Kush, Bubba Kush,
Top tier.
mm, top tier. Okay. Willie's Wonder.
Never had it.
I think that's one of Willie Nelson's strains.
Okay, yeah, never had any of them.
All right. White Widow.
Whew. Dreams.
Jilly Bean.
Never had it.
Never had that. What about Hindu Kush?
Ooh, land race.
Okay. Now now that was the other thing I wanted to ask you too. I had that one here. Is how you doing? Is Hindu or Indian hemp, is that the strongest hemp?
Yeah, I mean, it's got a reputation. They were creating, manufacturing cannabis and drinks and edibles, hashish candy and bong, the drink. And then Indian hemp has so many uses and it grows wild just on the sides. Like right now, you can go to parts where like the Himalayas are, and they just
Mm.
have wild hemp just growing off the side of the highway. It's pretty incredible.
You can just go grab a
I would hope so. I mean, it's a sight to see. That's my plan for 2021. I want to see that.
That's dope. Yeah, I want to see that
Yeah.
too. All right, now let's talk about this. We're about to wrap it up, but let's talk about your courses, your classes, and what you offer and what
Hmm.
that is. Just tell us about that.
So I do have a Cannabis 101 course. It is 7-week course. And basically I teach you the basics of like history, science, biological science for your body, plant science, those two, law. And I do it in a basic way so that you have a understanding. Like if you're going to be in this industry, you need to know the plant. If you're going to advocate, you need to have the right information. And it's a great starting point. And it's, self-paced, however long you want to take it. um, and then I also have a book club, which is my baby. We read a book together, about 50 pages a week. And then we come together on Zoom. Of course, we sesh and we talk about the book. It's a great way to hold ourselves accountable with finishing books. And I really love that Thursday night, every night doing that. I
Thursday,
think it's
what
great.
time is the book club? Thursday, what
It's
time?
7 p.m. East Coast time, but 4 p.m. Um, West Coast time. But I'm also thinking about changing that in the future if that's kind of like,
Club
a
is
time that
easy.
doesn't work. But the book club, oh, Ruby's in here. She's in the book club. It's amazing. I mean, really learning this stuff and like hearing different perspectives and laughing because you're
Hmm.
also high and high moments do happen in there. So that's kind of like my baby and what I love the most.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I have going on right now. And more to
How do,
come.
how do I get this book into the book club? Not this particular
Uh
one. This is a rusty copy, but a newer copy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're open to cannabis books, especially, Black authors. So,
I mean,
yeah.
is there something I need to do to get it nominated, or what? I mean, like to get
Yeah,
it
send me an
as a book.
email over the book and I can add it to the list and we
Okay,
can vote, when we vote for book two, because I think that's kind of how I want to move is that we, as a group decide. Um, Absolutely, it'll be up there.
that's what's up. All right,
Hmm.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Now, tell everybody. So let's tell everybody where they can follow you, where they can find you, what is coming up for you, what you got going on, and all those
Okay,
things.
so you can find me at the Cannabis Cutie. That's my Instagram. And you can also catch me on Herb on Thursdays. I go live, I sesh, educate a little bit. have some fun. I do that as well on Tuesdays on their Facebook, Herbs Facebook, if Facebook is more your jam. Um, you can find me at my website. I have a blog there with videos at thecannabiscutie.com. So much more to come in 2021. I'm really excited about that, about next year. Yeah, more education, more products, more love, more weed.
Definitely more weed. That's great. And I know if people want to get educated, and I've learned a lot, just like I said, from watching you, from following you. I'm a casual smoker, I guess you would call me, and I don't, my buddy, like I told you, who's getting this dispensary. He's been getting deep and giving me a lot of knowledge and showing me how to clone and everything. Oh, that's another thing too. He started his new, well, he started to grow. I saw you got to grow as well, an outside grow, and you also have like like you're showing people the progress of that too, right? Showing people how to grow and how to teaching that process as well.
Yes, but I did
How
not film their death.
they died?
Yeah, California has issues, man. We had heat waves, we had fires, there was ashes all over the trichomes. I got attacked by caterpillars. I guess a butterfly laid her eggs. It was
It was a
nuts.
disaster.
It ended so
Wow.
badly. It was horrible. But yeah, everybody saw up until like I was a couple of
Week
weeks away
18.
from harvest. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, because I saw one that was
They
like
were
week 18.
beautiful.
Oh man, I know that crushed you, didn't it?
I think there was a like real depression associated with, but there was nothing I could do about it. Like I could not control the weather. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't want to end on such a sour note.
No, no, it's okay. It was a learning lesson. It was a learning
Yeah.
lesson. Greenhouses
Yeah,
are
I heard
tough.
you said you were gonna do greenhouses and screens and
Yeah, I
things
got to
like that.
protect it from nature because nature wants them apparently. So,
You don't have
as
a tent or
much as I
anything, or
do.
you prefer to do an outdoor grow? Is it better? I heard you get more volume with an outdoor grow.
Yeah, I mean, you have what the sunlight can do is it can create so many different kinds of rays that a light bulb could never. So you're going to get different chemicals. That's
Hmm.
the benefit of outdoor grown. It's not going to be as pretty, it may not be as strong, but you may have some new terpenes or cannabinoids that are going to make it feel like it's some indoor.
Hmm.
So that's the difference, and that's what I was shooting for because the sun and water can get it done. Love the stuff that's grown indoor, but I just wanted some
To
good
have that
organic
experience.
outdoor. And apparently, organic, you still have to use pesticide. And that was my mistake because a lot of creatures were loving and munching on my plants too. So,
They don't have organic pesticides.
yeah, they do, but I just didn't. I learned too
You don't
late.
want to do it at all. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, cool, Tammy.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. We'll
Thank
be
you.
following you. Everybody can follow you, like I said, at her Tammy. And you have a link tree on your page as well that they can
Yeah, I've
find
got a
all
lot. You
your.
can check out a lot. Discounts, things that I'm doing, links to the products, some reform initiatives I'm kind of working on. Yes, those aphids. Someone said that in the comments. So yeah, there's a lot of different links on that in the link in my bio.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you so much for being with us.
Hmm.
Join us, like us, share us, tell people about us. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All
It
right.
was
And
nice
thanks again for
being
getting up
here.
so early, waking and baking with us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you. All right.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, everybody, as well. Um, you learned a lot. She's like I know she has a master's, and she's a very well-educated person. She knows a lot about the cannabis industry. She's well adapted on laws and everything about cannabis. Like I mean, if you want to learn about cannabis, you can go to her and learn and get this course and certificate. So, and we want y'all to also join us next week. I got my man Sean Myra out of Toronto coming in, and that's gonna be another great interview, like we always have. Um, like, join, share. Remember, you are God. Ain't no stopping us now.